So, listen to this. I have a friend who thinks because he's the client, he's the one buying the game, he's entitled to tell the developer how to make the game.
One of those, huh?
And I'm like, you don't get it, man. They are their own bosses, okay? They make the game they want.
Mm-hmm.
That's the idea. That's
if you
what
don't
I
like
want.
it, then you
don't
buy
do
it. Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Right? I mean, it goes both ways. Exactly. If you don't like it, you don't buy it. If I don't like it, I won't make it.
Okay, fine. Then I won't make it. I'm back.
And he doesn't quite understand that.
Yeah, it's just an entitled attitude. That's normal for some reason nowadays. It's rather frustrating, really. Sense of entitlement. Like, I deserve to have this. I deserve to have that. It's like, no, you don't. It's not your game. Literally. You know? If that's what you want, then you got to go make it. Or crowdfund somebody who is making it. It's just, there's a sense of entitlement, dude. It's just absolutely horrible in today's society. There was this guy he broke it down so freaking perfectly. And this is just me, and I agree with him. So you don't have to. It could be a sort of a controversial statement, but it's the participation trophy era that has done this.
Yeah.
In the sense that because they've introduced where everybody should be a winner.
Everybody's a winner.
Right. That suddenly made everybody believe that that's exactly how that, because they never had to earn something, right? Because it doesn't matter. I'm still a winner no matter what.
You know what's funny? This is a guy that actually plays in fighting tournaments where not everybody is the winner.
Yeah, I mean, I get it.
It makes the comparison so hilarious.
Yeah, and
you should know better.
You would assume, but that's the theory that I remember listening, and that's a theory I believe in. There was a time where people used to admire people who had things, like, well, who did things well, right? They, they had a job, they had a good paying job, they used to have a house, all this stuff, and people would look at them and go, look at this dude, man, he's doing good, he's doing good for himself, good for him, and this stuff. And now we're at that's like 50s and 60s, right? Now you get to this point where nowadays people look at that same person and go, well, why can't I have that? What does he have that I don't have? And the answer is, well, he fucking worked for it. You know what I mean? But that's lost now with the youth, and I think it all stems back to that. You know what I mean? Where it's like, well, yeah, what do you expect? You don't teach them to lose. That was a lesson that I had to instill into Nick. It's like, no, dude, you're gonna lose. You're gonna run into shit you're not gonna like. That's the way fucking life works. Trying to protect them from that. All that does is hinder them. By the time they get to an age where now, guess what? Real life is real, because we can sugarcoat it all we want. Real life is its own beast. And when it fucking hits them in the face, it hits them in the face. And now they're like, oh, this world sucks, and this and that, and blah, 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 and I can't get what I need, and these fucking developers, they don't make the game that I want, and, and blah, 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 blah. This job, my boss doesn't, he doesn't understand that I got to do this, and I got to do that, and it's just like, dude, the boss doesn't have to understand. Do your fucking job. Do your job and go home. You just do your job, they're going to fucking complain. You know what I mean? Right. So, anyway. Hate to go on that rant, but that's...
I don't know. I think we have an intro now.
I think that's what we're... controversial.
Cute. Din, 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 din. Bacon pancakes.
Yeah, right? Bacon pancakes. Bacon pancakes.
What's up, everyone? This is Arnaldo, aka Maddog, and this is the real episode 181 of GG's The Mouthful Podcast.
GG!
GG!
Yes.
Peacock!
Oh, God.
That was really early.
Oh, those voices, starting with the peacock. It's Mr. David Santos, a.k.a. Dream Twister. What the hell is up, bro?
Don't call me Peacock, but also Peacock should be our our mascot.
Why?
Oh,
No.
peacock.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be at this point.
Oh,
I think we've
Jesus.
said, literally in the last 2 weeks, I think we've said the word peacock more than any other human has in the last 2 years.
We is quite a lot of people.
I think it's. I want to make it. I want to make it trend. So
There's
Hashtag
a
peacock.
particular reason why
Peacock.
you just refer to him as Peacock.
This is true.
Point that out.
Yes, this is true. That other
Ah.
voice, of course, is our very own Chaos Reaper, a.k.a. Gilberto. What is up, sir?
Not much, my friend. Just another day.
Just
Get out of work.
no,
Time for
none
a
of that.
podcast.
Exactly. It's not another day. If it's podcast,
It's podcast day.
Exactly. It's the day. Like all the rest of the days of the week is they're just preambles to podcast day.
Actually, I'm not gonna lie. I've been looking forward to this.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
All right.
That is what I'm talking about. Well, guys, if this is your first time listening to the show, thanks so much for tuning in. Please go to our new URL, goodgame.rocks, ROCKS.
Woo! Fix.
Oh,
Yes, it
Yep.
takes you right to our Facebook group, and you can join the conversation there. And as always, please like, subscribe, and share the podcast with everyone. What do you think of that, Gilberto? There was
That
a little
sounds
surprise.
awesome.
Right.
that was
Good game,
awesome.
Game.rocks.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, good games rocks. You know,
Exactly.
they do rock.
Completely agree. Completely
In plural.
agree.
They are a rock. They are the rock.
What we normally do, guys, is first we go into what we've been up to, move on into various news items, and then finish with our hot topic of the week. This week's hot topic: how much are we willing to sacrifice for gaming? If you're not aware, and we'll get into a little bit more at the end of later on in the show, but Activision Blizzard did quite the idiotic thing earlier this week,
Oh,
but
God.
it has like completely shined the light on something that I think most of us wouldn't even have known. You know, like it's funny because in their attempt to, try to fix things, they literally shed a light on something they probably just didn't want anybody to know about to begin with. So
Yeah, and show themselves in the food.
and,
More
yeah,
on that.
In an attempt to cover it, they made it obvious.
yeah, pretty much.
Very.
Pretty much. So more on that later in the show. So let's start with what we have been up to. Mr. David Santos.
Oh, me.
Is you?
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen of the group, I am happy to report that I have finished. It's over. Witcher 3 is done.
Ooh,
What?
yes. That is
Yep.
what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I
Wow.
roll credits. On Witcher. Now, I haven't started the expansions, but the main game, as far as the main story goes, it is done. I'm very happy with it. I don't know how I feel about particularly the ending, or maybe my ending, or maybe the way the ending is presented. Just because don't get me wrong, I will still recommend this game. This is the game of the decade. This is the game to play, or at least of this generation. But I felt like for everything that I've done and for the many hours that I put on it, the ending kind of left me like, okay, it's the story's over. I know there's more. But I don't know. I felt a little unfulfilled. I think other games that have been as long and maybe not as deep, or definitely not as deep. I'm thinking of like Persona 4, for example, have had endings that have stuck with me. Have had endings that you feel like you feel that sense of missing, the characters. I don't think I got that with The Witcher, or at least not yet. I am planning on continuing the expansions later on, but I'm just gonna take the break on it. But also, I wasn't very happy to hear that you and I, Maddog, got the exact same ending. For all the part, the different. I try I try to play the way, I make my own choices, and I thought that, okay, well, we're different, a little bit.
Are you really?
Yeah, I was gonna.
Yeah, I guess, I was expecting it to be able to tell, my story and be wowed by, the events on your story, but it seems like everything went exactly as you played it, and I'm like, well, damn it, I don't know how I feel about that.
So I won't go into detail as to what the ending you have or the ending I have, even though it is a 2-3-year-old game. But I do know the ending that we shared is actually not the best ending. It's actually considered to be the worst ending.
So, what's to be?
Wow.
You saw the other ones?
The what?
Did you see the other ones?
I did. After I went through the whole thing, I think I went through the whole thing, even the DLC. But let me tell you, even with that, I think that the DLC really handles like a wrap up really well. But anyway, so the after I went through all that, I went to see what were the options, what is it that whatever, and there are there are several endings that you can get, and kind of list differently as to what can be considered the best or the worst. But this is definitely unanimously decided that this is the worst ending. In the sense that, what I'm saying, it's not that it doesn't end stuff. It's just that it leaves you like, it leaves even the character Geralt is kind of almost like in a lost moment or something like that because of the events that occurred.
I don't know. It feels like the logic. I mean, then again, I might be biased by the fact that these were my choices and those were your choices. But I feel like it would have been the logical step. Like, I don't know where I took the wrong step, but I would have been like, getting the quote unquote, bad ending, or not bad ending. I guess it's still a great ending. It's still,
yeah. Even though it's a bad ending, I agree. It is definitely a fulfilling ending to me personally. Particularly with the events. Like I said, I would hate to have gotten to that and then have it, just like and then there's a good amount of follow up, which is exactly what I enjoyed getting out of it. So I think personally, I know it's hard to quantify, but it's personally, I think it was a very good ending, and I'm trying to say things without saying stuff. It's so weird. I feel odd saying it this way, but I think that it does it well, and you should definitely look them up afterward. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. So I agree. I still very enjoyed it still, and I will recommend it wholeheartedly to anyone that wants to play a really good RPG. After that, I needed to have a palate cleanser, but I think I veered off a little bit too much to the side with this next game, Astral Chain. I went in full in. This time I was not previewing it. I just decided to go all in to and play. I think I put a good probably like 4 or 5 hours, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that's all I'm gonna put on that. That's all. I'm done.
What?
This game is. I mean, this game has I'm so conflicted because the game has a very unique fighting style that only Platinum could come up with. Because you're almost controlling two characters at the same time, but in an elegant enough way. It's a little cumbersome at first because it's like nothing you have played before, but when you because basically you're controlling your character, but at the same time you're pressing the right the right trigger and the right pad to move your other like your summon. Basically, it's gonna be the equivalent of a summon that you bring up that fights with you, and you bring it temporarily, and you gotta like watch for he fights by by himself. You just have to like pick where he attacks, or who he attacks, and you can only use it. You have to be tactical with it because you can only use it for a certain amount of time, and before you have to like unsummon it, I guess. And luckily, the cooldown is really quick. If you just leave him, until he drains completely, then the cooldown is a lot slower. But if you let him fight, and when you see that he's about to be completely drained, you kind of like just pull him in and take him out of the battle. Then he'll cool down really fast, and you can summon him again and continue the battle. The thing with it is that it is a very hard game. If you play it on the Platinum Standard, which is the equivalent of their normal mode, it is a hard game. And but that's good. I do enjoy those games and the difficulty on those type of games. The problem that I have with it is that it's way too, and I don't know how this is going to sound, but it's like way too anime for my taste. It went so hard into it that I'm talking about, this game is great. Final Fantasy VIII is a fantastic game, but the ideas behind it, they were kind of like cuckoo, and like, oh, you only see this. This will never.
And then it only gets worse.
And it only gets worse. Well, this is as if you started already in the worst part of it.
Really?
Yeah. Because you're a police force on this Earth, but Earth got pretty much like decimated, and there's only this island left that is, or artificial island that is supposed to be like a mega city. So they have. They have city sections, and you're part of this police force. But at the same time, you're part of this special police, though, because they are able to fight these monsters that the regular people cannot see. And it is super sci-fi-ish anime to a point where you will think that I will enjoy. But it has those tropes of, and your dad is the captain, of it, and your conversation with your, with the other police officers or whatever, it's kind of like leaning on the cutesy side, like I think I have grown this type of games, to be honest with you, and it's sad because Nier Automata. That was a game where it is anime. There's no doubt about it. But the themes, the subject of it is like it's very mature. This one is the opposite. This one is a little too tweeny for my taste. So
yeah, I want to kind of throw out there real quick that I kind of called that, sir. I kind of called it.
Yeah.
I don't know, sir. I don't know how. I'm glad you're enthusiastic about trying it, but yeah.
I mean, it's a game. It's like Pokemon. I will never understand the fascination of people with it, but I recognize it. They're good games. Obviously, if they weren't, it wouldn't be as famous as it is.
Right.
But and just like that, this was getting like raving reviews everywhere. I mean, talking about like 9s, 8s and 9s all across the board. So I was like, okay, so, and this is from Platinum, which is my joint, because they did Bayonetta and they did Nier Automata. So I need to, at the very least, I owe it to myself to try it, and see. And to be honest, I'm not writing it off completely just yet. But like, I'm not ready for it. This is not the game that I want to play.
Gotcha.
So what I did instead was that this past few days I was starting to feel like I was getting sick, and I was getting a little concerned on that. So I needed a pick me up. I needed like, oh shit, I need to, maybe if I just play something fun again, So I picked up Borderlands 3.
Oh, for the love.
Sorry, I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna say things right now that will probably not bode very well with with your feelings on it. Borderlands 3 is I don't like a Gearbox. I don't like Randy Pitchfork. I don't like some of the some of the things and the style and the way they have done the that they run that company and the games that they have released lately for it.
But
Borderlands 3 has none of those problems. Borderlands 3 is a video game as video game without loot boxes in the bad sense, because there are a lot of fucking loot boxes. But I'm talking about the good ones, the normal opening a chest and getting and getting good stuff out of it. Not I have to pay money, in advance to try to see if I could get the what we know as the bad loot boxes now. It has none of that. No pay to win mechanic. No, not trying to do anything. No monetization. Basically, is if you want to play co-op, you join co-op in the normal kind of way. There's no live services that you have to, that you have to be always online, to play, and that your characters are saved on a server somewhere, and none of that live services crap. No, again. This doesn't change the way I feel about Gearbox software, but I have to give credit where credit is due, and this game is fucking fantastic. Wow. I have been playing this game nonstop since yesterday. This morning, this morning I woke up, I played a little bit, I put maybe 6 or 7 hours yesterday, and today before you guys came in for the podcast, I was playing. Well, before my family came in, and suddenly I had to stop. But if not, you would have found me playing. You would have found me. You would have caught me, playing the game. It's early to talk about the story. I've heard that the story on it is not as it's not super good or anything like that, and I am okay with that because this is not BioShock. I know what I'm getting into, and I know the type of humor that the second game that Borderlands 2 had. And even though it's not the same writer, and I could tell, there are some things where, I really wish they would have gotten that Tales of the Borderlands writer, for it. It's still fun. It's still funny. I hear a lot of people complaining about, but it's so juvenile and so silly. Get the fuck out of here, man. If you can't really have fun with something, yes, they're all memes sometimes. Yes, some of the things they say they're stupid, but it is what you're not playing Borderlands.
Is, though.
Yeah, exactly. This is not gonna be some Shakespearean or Elizabethan.
It's not gonna be dark or gritty. No.
It's super super fun, and shooting those guns. And mind you, I'm only level 10. I'm only level 13 now.
Borderlands is the kind of game where you fight bosses called Boom Boom.
Yes, it do. It's not even half of it. I can't think of the names of some of the bosses that I've gotten so far. But the shooting mechanics on it, mind you, I'm playing on PC. I understand that there might be some issues on how we play on consoles. I know you guys play Borderlands 2, and you guys did not feel that you didn't like the shooting, the way the shooting felt on it, and I totally get that. I can definitely see how that could be. I'm playing on PC and with keyboard and mouse, and I love the way those guns feel. Whatever.
But it feels updated, right?
It does.
See? Well, that's what I'm saying, though.
But I didn't really have a problem with Borderlands 2. I found that Borderlands 2 weapons were fine. On this one, I'm talking about they crank it up to 11 with the shit that they've come, the shit that they brought. Like they have, they have the gun that shoot other guns, literally. they have the gun that you that when you reload it, you just throw it and it becomes a kind of like a stationary explosive device that you shoot at it and it'll say shoot me, and when you shoot at it, it explodes. It had the guns with that when you reload it, it just throw the gun and it becomes a tower that runs with legs, kind of like a mini mech. It has crazy stupid shit like that.
What the hell did you just say?
Dude, I'm not kidding. There is even a gun that basically the second thing. It's a gun that has, I guess, the spirit of Handsome Jack in it. Handsome Jack being the villain of Borderlands 2, and all he does as you're shooting bad guys and stuff like that is make quips, on it and
oh my god,
and, insult you and shit like that.
It's like hilarious.
It's crazy, dude. It's chock full, and this is the first. Like I played the area of Pandora. And I don't think I grabbed everything that was there, but like I'm already moved to the other planet, and it's chock full of those that type of of humor, of crazy reference, of crazy guns, and none of these guns are epic. I haven't gotten an epic weapon just yet. I'm talking about just the regular ass. Just grab this gun here and
does some wild random shit.
It'll do some wild random shit as in the levels that you would not understand when you say it.
Okay.
It'd be completely random and completely could do. I can't say better things about it because I have to celebrate the fact that at the end of the day, they made a video game the way that we always wish they kept making video games, which is, none of the monetization bullshit, not trying to get, sleazy. It shocks me that it comes from, like, probably one of the sleaziest developers because of that. And I call him that because of what they did, what they tried to do with, Duke Nukem, and what they tried to do with the elite colony Marines and the allegations that came into some of their conduct and whatever. But they made an awesome game. They really did. So
they just build up on what they had.
Yeah. That's another thing. That's not
all we wanted.
This is not like Borderlands. It plays better than Borderlands 2, yes, but this is not gonna be like. I mean, I don't know. I'm still early. I'll consider, but I'm not expecting it to like blow me out of the water. Where I'm a Borderlands 2 fan, and that's the way I'm coming from. So I would not say, oh, guys, you did not like Borderlands 2. You should give it a try to Borderlands 3 because I mean, yes. I do believe that you will find some of the guns and things amusing, but I don't think it's gonna change your mind in the sense of it's not a.
It's not that I'm not a fan of Borderlands 2. I don't think it aged well. That's all. I loved Borderlands 2. I played that game to death. I did the DLCs. I beat some of the secret bosses.
Oh, really?
I got to like ultra badass rank. I don't know what the hell.
Okay. Then in your case, see, I wouldn't push it on Maddog then because I don't think this would be. I mean, the only Borderlands game that he played was Tales of the Border, and that you enjoy was Tales of the Borderlands. You finished the Tales of the Borderlands.
Oh yeah,
it's completely different.
But that's a Telltale game, yeah. So but I did play 2, and I played it for a good amount of time. It's just I played it very recently for the first time. Like it came free for PlayStation Plus, which is earlier this year. Yeah, never played it before that, so I don't have that attachment. And yes, he's right; it didn't age well. But for someone who didn't, I don't have that nostalgic attachment to it. I was just looking at it, going, "This just doesn't feel right." It's just so many games have come up. Again, if I had that attachment, then I could say, "I get it; it's old," But for me, it was just like, I don't get it.
Yeah, and I can see
I don't get it, and it's old.
And it's old.
And it's old. I can see also how, like, I don't know, for into the purposes, it probably feels like crap on consoles. I get that. I get it. I get that how that could be because I mean, you want to play a good shooter or a good feeling shooter, not necessarily a good shooter, but a good feeling shooter. Destiny's there, and those type of games. So
did you just tell me that if I don't like Borderlands 3 to go play Destiny?
No, if that feeling is different. Like the weapons in this, like
Just messing with you, bro.
I had no.
I am. I'm just messing with you.
I have no. Like I don't see the difference. Oh, because again, I'm on PC. You will not notice that, but on console, I can see how you'll notice that. You want to play a good shooter. There's Call of Duty. There's Titanfall. There is actually I will put those two and Destiny like right up there. Two games that the shooting feels good, even if the games may not be like super great, but the shooting feels fantastic. On it.
You know what's funny? In Destiny, I ran into the same problem that you could jump towards something, and if you didn't hit it, if you didn't like fully go over it, you would like hit it and stop.
Uh-huh.
But see, they could mount over stuff, so they would just mount over the edge. That doesn't happen in Borderlands 2.
Yeah, it's funny how you mentioned that. It was the one thing that I noticed. I was like, why am I not able to jump up here? I don't understand. It's like right there. You know what I mean? So anyway.
Super.
So there's no mantle. There's no mantling. Like you can't go over.
No, in part 2.
On Borderlands 2. Oh, okay. So they do have that now on Borderlands.
Okay.
There you go.
See?
And also in Borderlands 2, you were just a floating gun, basically. In Borderlands 3, you have half because you can see, like, if you look down, you can see your feet moving, and I think that comes with, with also the mantling portion where if you're about to fall, like so many times already has happened that I'm jumping from building to building because I'm on this urban area now. And I almost make it, but I don't. But because I can actually mantle over it, I save myself. So it does have that. It has that. So yeah, I guess it's a thing of its time. So did you, if you like Borderlands 2, you particularly, Chaos?
I did.
Then yes. Where did you play it? Was it PC or console?
Console.
Okay, then you probably won't have an issue. I mean, rent it first just to see, but because the looting on that game is a lot more satisfying than any shooter that I have played.
Okay.
Including Destiny, including those type of games. It is fucking fantastic, man. I want to finish this early. I told Maddog when he came in, let's do this quick. The real reason is because I want to jump back in before I go to bed. So yeah, that's pretty much all I've been playing of that. Of course, I watched a movie that we're gonna be talking about. This movie was a life changer for me. It's one of those movies.
Yeah. Well,
and of course I'm talking about Harold and Kumar Escape from Guantanamo Bay.
Oh my God!
Certainly. Nice. I'm glad it changed your life.
I'm sorry that you saw
that. Yeah, no, it did not change my life. Actually, it's no. I mean, I'm not cold. I enjoyed it for what it was, but no. I am not sorry that I watched it, but this movie was not. You guys thought I was gonna mention the next one that I have, of course, which is the big one. Isn't it romantic?
What?
That's the movie? Isn't it romantic?
No, that's not either the movie also. I also watched Isn't It Romantic, and this is not, this is the one, if anything, this is the one that I regret watching.
Is that the name of it? Isn't it romantic?
Yes.
Okay.
It's called Isn't It Romantic. It's one of those.
I need you to be a little serious so I know what I'm looking up here, damn it. Isn't it romantic? Jeez, okay.
Isn't It Romantic is one of the movies with this
Rebel Wilson?
Yeah, Rebel Wilson. Kind of like a satire. It's funny because the movie is a romantic comedy, being a satire of romantic comedies, but like it doesn't really land it anywhere. It's kind of it's one of those movies.
It's neither romantic nor satirical.
No, it still does what it's meant to do. But of course, if you're gonna watch, one of those movies, your significant other is that you wouldn't want to put this on. You probably put like I don't know, Sweet Home Alabama or 51st Date, which is my wife's favorite movie, favorite rom-com. So,
Oh wow.
yeah. And oh yeah, before I forget, I also saw the Joker, and that's it. That's all I
Nice.
did.
All right. I am just going to go real quick because I didn't play anything new this week. I'm still chipping away the 2. I also did see the Joker. However, I'm going to throw it over to Gilberto so that he can take us there.
Yeah. Okay. So I've been just playing Apex Season 3. I'm dying to get to level 53 where I get the lifelike skin, and I've been doing the ranked matches in Mortal Kombat 11. There's a skin for Sub-Zero that I want, and I'm just dying to get over these challenges. Still got like 3 more days to do, and still 2 matches today to finish, which are pretty interesting. I've been losing quite a lot recently, but it is what it is. I started watching The Orville. That's on Hulu.
The
Orville, yeah.
Yeah, man.
That's hilarious.
I've had it on my list for so long, and like, you know what? Just whatever. And I was actually kind of surprised the subjects that they cover in this show. When it's supposed to be a comedy, but then they're having this whole episode on a homosexual marriage, and making having a transgender operation on a baby from a girl to a boy. I'm like, what is this?
Yeah, right. It is. Yeah. I didn't watch a lot of episodes of it, but I liked what I saw. I thought it was funny. Orville being the talk about the Star Trek spoof, right?
Yeah, the Seth MacFarlane Star Trek. Yeah, and that's exactly like I'm not expecting this out of a Star Trek parody. Why? And it was such a serious episode,
Yeah.
It still had its funny moments here and there, but overall, it was a serious episode. It was like, oh, okay, I dig this. So I started watching that, and I watched the Joker this past Wednesday. And I mean, I absolutely had to. I saw that you guys watched it, and I must watch this movie before this episode airs, before this episode is recorded, because we need to talk about it.
So you missed work?
No, I didn't. I'm off on Wednesdays.
Oh, how convenient.
Yeah.
So I think I've told you this before, Wednesdays and Thursdays, but anyways. I mean, I'm just gonna flat out say it. What an amazing movie!
I know.
Oh my God! From beginning to end, all the tension and the drama and the sadness, and suddenly all this anger, and it's so well done.
Yes. I don't understand why a lot of people were expecting it to be something else. I guess
I don't know, because the trailer was pretty explicit about what it was.
Yes, it was.
I agree. I mean, I think that was one of the best trailers you can see, because it doesn't really reveal anything. Not that you don't know. I mean, if you know the character of Joker, you kind of know what's going to happen. So,
right.
But other than that, it doesn't reveal anything. But it does give you a sense of the tension and a sense of the theme they're using here. So I don't know why it was such a surprise, but. There's a lot of first of all, it's still critically still doing pretty well. It did drop under the fresh rating, but whatever, right? It doesn't that doesn't mean shit as far as I'm concerned.
I spoke to someone at work, and they were like, "Oh, I like the Joker, so I watched the movie, but it's such a sad movie and this and that." I'm like, "Well, did you watch the trailer? Did you not know what you were about to watch? Because it was obvious." It was not gonna be your. It's first off, it's not a superhero movie.
No, not at all.
No, not even
at all. Like even if it takes place within a superhero universe, it's still the Joker, who's just a normal man who's just insane. Or of course you can go more in depth, but you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
So I love the fact that it was. Yes, you said it was in superhero universe, but we never hear about that because it's not time for that just yet. Nor would I want it to go into that. I think this movie should just be its own thing.
The movie doesn't lend itself well for that.
No, I love that.
It can, but I see what you're saying though. I won't go into details. I'm just saying it can lead itself. I hope they don't.
we'll talk more about that
In
once
spoilers,
we jump
yeah.
into spoiler
Yeah,
territory.
We're going to
later.
keep this portion of it very spoiler free. We will put up a flag when we start spoilers, and I'll make sure to include that in the show notes so that no one doesn't, gets caught by surprise.
Yeah.
So
But the acting, the music, the choreography, because there is dancing in this movie.
yeah,
The cinematography, everything is just so good. It works. Everything just works so well. I absolutely love this movie.
Yeah, me too.
nice,
I'm watching it again. I'm watching it again next week.
nice.
I want to. I want to.
Me too.
I want to watch it again. Yeah. And
What you think about it, Dreamy?
Oh, I honestly, I was bringing this other movies that I saw this week, just jokingly, because I wanted to have the conversation. I think this movie was phenomenal. I love the fact that they, even though we all know the character of the Joker, and even people that don't follow comics, they kind of know, well, this is just this maniac, person, this maniac evil person, right? But like you, and we have seen origins of the Joker here and there, but this one made it very, honestly, even very relatable to it's something that is very very believable, because first of all, well, I can't go into those portions, but we'll have the opportunity. I'll leave it light. But remind me to bring the that.
Yeah.
What they use as the explanation of why is he like this way, why does he act this way, makes perfect sense, because I have seen that. I have seen the cases, and not lived lived in or live with a person that have them, but I have seen people with that.
And I'm sorry to interrupt, but somebody told me that was one of the problems, that they made him too relatable, too easy to sympathize with.
Well, that's the type of movie it was trying to. It was trying to allude to, this is not this is not an anti-hero movie. To be honest with you, I love the fact that it was a sad, a sad movie. It's what I will always tell you. Like nobody, nobody dares to take risk with this, with their precious properties anymore. I think the closest that we saw to something like that was Logan, which I thoroughly enjoyed. And at the end, yes, he ended up still being I don't think they lean too hard on the hero anti-hero, but I mean, he is what he is. He is the Wolverine, so of course he's gonna act like the Wolverine.
Yeah, but he's very good at what he does, and what he does is very nice.
Exactly what he does. It's not very nice. So I kind of compare it, with that, but this one is a lot more cemented in reality. Even though, yes, it does have its themes and subjects that are kind of like a little, cuckoo and out there, and talking about the world itself, like, right. Like this has to be the worst city in America, to live by 10,000 fold.
Let me tell you how that is basically what New York was. It's essentially what New York was, guys. I put up my I wasn't even gonna do like a review of it, like write it out, but I went to the I went to the like we saw it on Saturday, and the next day I went out with some peeps to go check out football games and stuff like that, and then I was just waiting to get picked up. And my mind just wandered right back to it. And I was like, you know what? I think I need to put these thoughts down. You know what I mean? And that's what I started doing. I just basically started typing it onto my phone. And before you know it, I got that far, essentially. I really, really, really enjoyed it. And I really, it's the combination of everything that it had. You know what I mean? The cinematography on it, man, is really something. I loved every portion. For that Gotham. First off, this was filmed a lot in New York. Those steps, I've been on those steps. So when I first saw the commercial, I was like, oh shit, they're really doing this in New York. Okay, that works. And then I see New York, and I'm like, this is New York in the 80s. This is exactly what it looked like. This is exactly what I even said it. You could feel like you can almost smell what the damn subway smells like, because I remember that smell. I went through it for forever. So it was just so refreshing to see how gritty they made that, and the fact that man, they dared to say no, we're not gonna include anybody else. We're gonna make this really sound, rather really look and sound, gritty. And I really did over enjoy it. Joaquin Phoenix did an amazing job.
Oh yes,
absolutely amazing job, and everybody did, even oh gosh, Robert De Niro, the rest of the cast. I mean, even the side card. But man, this was Joaquin Phoenix's show, man, and it lived and died with him. You know what I mean? Because if he would have got somebody else who couldn't handle that, it just wouldn't have been the same. And so yeah, I really did enjoy it, and I understand a lot of people's complaints, not the ones that are idiots that just didn't they went in expecting a comic book movie for the Joker, you know what I mean? People who did their homework but went in and came back with that wasn't what I was expecting. I've read some of the stuff and I'm like, I get it, but you it's one of those things where I look at those people who are
like, I get it. You didn't get what you wanted, but you didn't get the movie.
Correct. Yeah. These people who wrote these reviews, and then I go, I think the reason why this doesn't ring true to you because you may not have been in a situation like this. You know what I mean? And I'm not going to say I was anywhere close to the scenario that this guy was. And by the way, I'm not sympathizing with and I want to throw that out there because I feel that everybody at some point should, like, I'm not saying what he did towards the end was justifiable or anything. No. I'm just saying, the point of the movie is to say, hey, sometimes these things if things stack up this way, it can possibly lead us, particularly someone with clear mental health issues. You know what I mean? Because that's essentially the painting they're drawing here for the Joker, that he is someone with mental health issues, which are really shown off really well in the film. And again, we'll go to details and spoilers. But matter of fact, do you guys want to just jump into spoilers right now? I can tag this stuff. Let's just do it.
Okay.
So starting right now, we're going to go into spoilers. So if you haven't seen the movie and you don't want to hear spoilers, just skip on to the next segment of news and come back when you have. Starting now, last chance. So we're in spoilers. So what I mean to say is the scenes like with him and the woman, when I first saw that, when he first runs after he does his shooting and he goes into the apartment and just runs up and kisses her, and I'm like, this is such a different, like, I get it, he just had his release, but it still didn't ring true to me because I was like, he doesn't just suddenly that couldn't just happen. So I had doubts, but then
the woman was too accepting. The woman was
correct.
very accepting. Yeah.
And then when
she completely accepted this creep with clown makeup to kiss me, and I bought it.
I didn't buy it, but then as time went on and we kept seeing her, I was going, well, I guess I have no choice but to buy it. Just say I'll accept it.
But you want to know why I bought it though?
What?
Because I wanted something good to happen to this guy.
Yeah, me too. I'm right there with you.
That is the only reason.
I hear you. But it didn't reach. Like I said, at some point I just accepted it. It's like, okay, well, you know what? Stranger things have happened, right? Why not? Why not that? But then, of course, the reveal, when you realize, and the way they revealed it was very, very awesome. It was just, it was. It's the story, man, plays with you. I don't know. It was so good. But I have some thoughts to the ending, but I won't jump into them yet. What do you guys want to go into now that we're in spoilers?
I guess I guess that thing with the mental issues and his condition where he basically he laughs uncontrollably. It's literally, like, against his will. He'll start laughing to the point where he carries with him this card that explains hey, I'm sorry for my obnoxious laughter, but I suffer from this condition that I cannot control, and kind of like that. And the reason why I say that I have seen people with conditions that are similar is because and I think I brought it up at some point. I think maybe I brought it on the podcast, but there is this YouTuber, this streamer actually. She is a Twitch streamer, and she has a YouTube channel also. And she goes by the name of Sweet Anita. And this lady, you see her, she is gorgeous, and I don't mean it in the sense of beauty, although she is attractive. But I mean in the sense of the way she expresses herself, the things that she thinks. She's like a very down to earth, lady. Mm-hmm. She's a very down to earth lady. The kind of people that you'll be like, man, that'll be awesome. This lady will be really cool to hang out with. You definitely seem to have it all together. But she suffers from Tourette's, and it is a case where it's a particular type of Tourette's. I forgot the exact name of it.
The actual disorder is called pseudobulbar effect, or PBA.
It's basically one where uncontrollably she goes into these like super nasty, like fucked up obscenities out of nowhere.
My bad. I was talking about jokers there. My bad.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. No, I'm talking about her. Hers. It's crocodile. Fahia, I want to say. I don't know the name of it exactly, but it's this thing where she'll be talking normal, she'll be having a normal conversation, but in between she'll be saying nasty things, and if you don't understand that is the condition, you will think that she's just playing with you. You know what I mean? But I researched on it because I found it interesting, and yeah, it is part of it. It is part of it to the point where I'm not sure if although I wouldn't have the solution for it, but how her YouTube, especially her YouTube channel, it's kind of a lot of little was showing how she reacts in these moments, because they're kind of hilarious, to be honest with you. They're kind of fun, and she understands. She's like, no, dude, I don't feel bad that you laugh at this thing. Said that's great. Like, I'm telling you, she's very down to her, with that stuff. But seeing that and and watching the Joker, it kind of made me feel like, oh yeah, I can definitely see that. Now I didn't know the condition of the Joker was it's a real condition, although I wouldn't have doubted it, because I mean this kind of
and I remember I feel like I've seen it somewhere else before, either a movie or something like that. So the fact that they decided to use that as it's fascinating. It's like, man, that makes so much sense. You know what I mean? And the fact that he fights against it. You know what I mean? And it's just like,
oh my god, it's actually heartbreaking to see.
It is when he was on the train, and he was desperate to not get these guys to come. You can see in his face, he's almost like he's crying and laughing at the same time. He's like, I don't want these guys to come over. I don't want these guys to come over.
You can see it in his eyes that it pains him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's heart wrenching every time that I saw it. And that's the same reason why I bought it, that he had this relationship. And when it was I was like, it was like my worst expectation of it. Like, well, I was expecting it, but I'm really hoping it wasn't.
Yeah, it wouldn't.
I hear that.
Like when I saw it, like, yeah, I can see that happening. Okay, yeah. But it all lends itself to say that he's an unreliable narrator.
Correct.
Right.
Correct. Which doesn't steer far from the other version of the Joker that everybody,
from the actual
so
Joker.
Much. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's like, in the end, you don't know. And then if we look at his history, right, He was adopted. That the whole time we're like, oh, that's his mom, and now she's like, oh, Thomas Wayne is your father and all this stuff, and it's just like, at some point I was going, man, are they gonna go that route?
I
That'd be
know.
insane, right? I mean, I would be
Yeah.
cool with it either way, but then of course the realization that like, no, that's not the case. Not only is that not the case, but you have no clue what the hell you're from because
Mhm.
your mom has been lying to you this entire time. It's
Okay, but stop
Yeah.
right there though.
Mhm.
Just consider it. I mean, look who Thomas Wayne is and how he is in the movie. He's an asshole.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
He very well could have buried her on in an insane asylum,
Oh, it could have.
and it'd be true.
Absolutely.
That's definitely one way that it could have gone. But again, the movie, even though it makes it seem like it's concrete, like this is an answer, it's not the only answer
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
because
But it also
it doesn't give you any solid one way or another. Because I mean, it's very possible he is a powerful man. He is a doctor.
No, like you said though, a lot of what we saw comes into question, which is why when I look at that ending,
Yes.
when he gets hit by the me personally, just my own theory, and I haven't seen anybody mention this, but I guess it's going to be my own theory. But I personally think that yes, he was in the I guess it was a police car. He was in the police car that got hit by the ambulance. That happened. What I don't think happened was everything after that. The people in the streets and all, I think that's still in his head. I think he still sees himself as this amazing, you know what I mean? Like he's become this thing. And so me personally, I feel it calls it the movie obviously at some point just calls into question everything you see because who knows what's real and what's not. But I truly, my personal feelings, I truly believe that was all in his head, which is fine. Yeah, I still think it's awesome. And I think I think that obviously adds to that element. And then of course the end when when he just goes and murks or kills that lady.
The therapist,
Yeah, the therapist.
I
Walks out.
believe that it's in his head as well.
Okay.
I believe that it's in his head. Some of the things, for example, when he kills the three guys in the subway,
Mm-hmm.
he has a 6-shooter and he fires 7 times. Now it could just be a mistake of the movie, but I doubt it.
Did you? Because I swear I counted 6.
Really?
Like I was
'Cause
counting. Yeah, I was counting with it. I was like, okay, yeah, okay, that makes sense.
I
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I counted 7 because
Okay.
he shoots the 2 guys, one in the head, and then the other one gets shot twice. And then when he shoots the other guy in the leg, and then he unloads on him whatever, like 4 more bullets or 3 more bullets, whatever the hell it was.
Yeah, I gotta look at it again. I count.
Yeah.
That's what but I did. I was with you. Same exact way. I was counting. I was like, wait a minute, come on, don't
sorry.
mess it up, guys. And
I was watching the movie. I wasn't doing math.
Oh, dude, I was trying to
I'm
look
so
at
used
every
to-
single detail.
I'm so used to movies doing that all the time, where there's like, damn, this gun has like infinite, bullets from a black hole or something, because they just don't end. So I never paid attention to, he had this gun, he should have only 6 bullets on it. I just saw that he unloaded on that guy, and I was like, well, yeah, he is super dead, just like Robert De Niro was super dead.
Oh my God! Yes.
At the end, where he was like point blank in the face.
Now, that scene
or in the head.
in the head, yeah.
Yeah.
I was just saying that scene is the only scene where I was like, okay, let's get to the point, guys. Let's get
You
to
went
the
a little too far, yeah.
No. Not what happened. It's just I felt that the whole lead up to that, like everything was cool when he was just like, "Can you call me the Joker?" Blah, blah, blah. Okay, great. And then he goes out there, and it just becomes a little bit of an exposition dump, because now now you're kind of explaining why he's doing it. It's like, yeah, but I think we all got that. I don't think he said anything we didn't get. So it felt a little odd and went a little longer than I expected. But that's really a nitpick for the record.
Really? Because the way I saw that, it was this is one man's confession to the entire nation before he kills himself.
Right. I thought that too, but I think he changed his mind when he went out, like as he was going out.
Because he got angry. They started making fun of him, and he got angry.
Mm.
And that's when everything changed.
I think the part that that went a little too long was like the wrap up. Basically, I think like I had nothing nothing led me to believe that what happened, when he was in the car and the ambulance, hit the car, and then he stood up, and even though yes, it kind of looks almost poetic in a sense. Like
Yeah.
I guess
Very
I can
poetic.
understand where you guys are coming from, but like I just took it for what it was. It was like, yeah, well, this is the rise. That obviously there's a lot of people that have. I mean, living in that city, there's a lot of people that are pissed off with the way things are, and tensions are high, and yeah, that was it. But then I was expecting, like, right there, roll credits. Like, you don't need to extend the part where he's taken to the, by the police. He is being interviewed by this lady. It's like, I didn't understand why that part was necessary. Because I feel like we already had the momentum. We already had the explanation. Just like you said, yeah, that part.
Wait, I'm sorry. You have me a little confused. You say the end when he's with the psychiatrist?
Yeah,
Mhm.
the very end.
That's
Yeah,
that's not
Where
a
he
police
killed-
station. He's in Arkham.
well, he's an Arkham, yeah, but he is like was like I don't see where that part was
So you're saying it was an
necessarily
excess? It was
necessary.
excess, yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
It was like the movie already ended. It was like you already had your "Would you kindly" just end it now.
Well,
Well,
that's why because of that scene is what leads me to believe that
everything is in his head.
the other part of it was in his head. Yeah, and I was like, it's so. If with the absence of that scene, then I would have been like, because at that point I'm going, man, this city's just insane.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
However, it's not far from reality, because it's clear that the inspiration for how this particular Joker, Bernie Getz, is a killer in New York during these times. It was like I want to say it was the 80s. And very similar. He was a subway guy. He killed some people on the subway. They ended up being a bunch of black kids, but it became this thing where the city, and same exact thing with the newspapers, and they're like, oh, vigilantes out there, and all that. The interest came in, like, it even interviewed people going, yeah, it's a good thing we have a vigilante, you know what I mean, and people in the streets, this is like real life, you know what I mean.
Mhm.
So but in the end, it didn't get to the point where you have this crazy thing where he rises up, and I was like, that kind of crossed the line of reality to me a little bit. So the fact they included that in the end is like, okay, I think that was all in his head. You know what I mean?
Yeah. When you see it on that like with that excess, with the fact that he is alone with this psychiatrist, and he murdered her, and then you almost see him like escaping in a kind of comical way where he's he leaves, and then he runs to the left, and then he runs to the right, and that with that in, I can see why you will lead to the conclusion of, yeah, that's probably all in his head then.
Yeah, there's a few things in that scene. First off, during the movie, there's one flashback where you see him banging his head against the glass.
Mm-hmm.
He's in a white suit in a white hall. He was in Arkham.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right? So at the moment, you feel like that was in the past. Like, that could have very well been the present.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay? And then when you're in that scene, like, before she starts talking, that he starts laughing, I think he has a flashback of Bruce with his dead parents. Right?
Yes. I also want to comment on that.
Yeah, there's no way he could have seen that. There's no possible way.
Mm-hmm.
So that also lends itself that this is all in his head.
Mm-hmm. Or at least the majority of it, or portions of it. Mm-hmm.
Or, I mean, you could, one of my theories that maybe he was remembering a lot of it could be real, and he was just remembering in his present self, well, that might have been while he was younger. Because then that would make sense, because he looks like roughly the same age as Thomas Wayne, and he's saying that that's his father, but then again, he is insane.
Yeah.
So you wanted to say something about
Yeah, I was wondering, and I never got the opportunity to play it back. But do you remember? You remember that that scene of Bruce Wayne's parents, getting killed, and and the thing with the pearl necklace, like breaking from. I could have sworn that I saw that almost exact copy of the events in Batman vs Superman.
Yeah.
Am I misremembering?
No, you're not. It's always the same event.
No. But
I mean,
the way of the pearls, but I think in Batman v Superman, the pearls got caught in the gun.
The play by I'm talking about, like, was it a frame by frame, or was it like?
No, it wasn't a frame by frame. No, it was. It's always been a little different, but it's the angle where the alley.
Yeah, I almost remember the angle with the alley. I almost remember the same mask. That
really?
Same particular mask that they were using. I want to say yes, but honestly, I might be misremembering. It just seems so similar. It'll be great if when we go on break, which should be pretty soon, if we could review that, to see if that was actually, because that also got me concerned.
I'm gonna say no.
That got me concerned with, like, oh man, I hope they're not trying to, like, put this on the same universe, quote unquote, as the Batman versus Superman, because
no. That much, of that I can definitely say is not. It's definitely not going to be that the same universe, in other words. But yeah, the theater, even the show that they watch, the going down the alley. I'm pretty sure it's not the same. I'm pretty sure it's not the same shot. We could look it up. I'm pretty sure it's not the same shot. I don't recall seeing somebody with a Joker mask, but I could be wrong. But yeah, everything else is always the pearls. The pearls actually became popular from Frank Miller. Frank Miller's version of it, I think, was the first one that included the pearls, and since then everybody has to include pearls, no matter what, because otherwise it's not the same. You know what I mean? Really? So yeah, it's But anyway, yeah, I don't think it's the same, dude. We'll look at it though. We'll look at it. Any other thoughts on the film?
Yeah, I watched the Angry Joe review on it, and two of them gave it 7 out of 10. Angry Joe gave it an 8 out of 10, and I don't think they quite understood the movie completely, mixed with their expectations to how they felt towards the movie. For example, one of them complains that, like, oh, I was expecting like a smart Joker, like he's like someone that can think his way out of a room. And it's funny that he says that, because what exactly does he do at the very end?
Yeah, he gets out of the room, basically.
He thinks his way out of a room. I mean, yeah, sure, he killed someone, but that's exactly what the Joker do.
Yeah.
To be fair, I agree. I agree that he was able to get to do that in the film. But I do agree with a lot of people who go, well, this is to me personally, this is a very good rendition of Joker. And I like that it's like this, and I like that there's no Batman. If there was a Batman, I don't think it would be the same. It couldn't be the same. I don't think this particular Joker would stand a chance against a Batman.
Right.
So,
well, I think there's a reason for it though, and it's because this is where he started. Mm-hmm. He was under meds, which made him starve, and plus he had no money, so he was literally starving. And he was someone that's always struggling with his thoughts, that he had to rein them in, keep them under control all the time. But now that he gives everything free rein, who's to say that some intelligence will bloom out of that?
It's possible.
It's possible.
He's just starting out.
Yeah, it is possible. But that's what I'm saying. If
just look at the Killing Joke. Or what was that? Well, this was the DC cartoon, the DC animation, rather. Was it the Killing Joke? Is that what it's called?
Yeah, well, that's one of them.
You got to tell me something about
that's one of them. The one where the Joker is just a failed comedian.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Joke, yeah.
So, and that's another Joker that I wouldn't think that particular Joker was that against Batman, but yet he does.
Yeah.
Or kinda.
Also, a lot of people are having problems that this movie references heavily Taxi Driver and King of Comedy?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. That's a problem.
Well, I mean,
I think it was more of
some of the
I think it
reviews I've heard have
Okay.
made it look like a problem. Yeah.
Gotcha. Well, it does. If you've seen those two movies, you realize it. I mean, kind of beat for beat a little bit. You know what I mean? But I personally, my own opinion is that those movies are old, and in the sense that I feel more of it's paying homage to those films as opposed to aping the films. You know what I mean?
That's how I saw it too.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So.
By the way, that dance down the stairs was absolutely amazing. I love that scene so much.
Yeah.
And when he's in the apartment that he stabs that guy in the ear, holy hell, that was awesome.
Yeah. That was insane. The poor short guy. I felt bad when he couldn't get to the door. I was like, and I was like, please don't change your mind.
But it was great when he scares him when he's walking by him. Huh!
Yeah. It was hysterical. Hysterical. All right, guys. Well, that's our thoughts. You guys want to give it a ranking?
Oh, I give it a... You know what? I'm going to give it a 9.5 out of 10.
Okay. There we go. What you give it, sir?
Well, I came out of the movie saying this is a movie it's a solid 8, but the more I thought about it, the more I see the intelligence behind it. So I'm gonna say 9.
Nice, awesome. Nice. I'm gonna jump on the 9.5. I think it. And I probably walked out of the theater a little bit more enthusiastic than Dreamy. Even though, and this is funny, even though I have my problems with it, because I still feel that the length of certain portions were a little bit, and I also didn't care for the inclusion of any of the Waynes. You know, so I was just like, no, why even put them in there? Not in the Waynes, excuse me, the killing of the Waynes, that particular thing. I was like, do we need that? Okay, you know what I mean? Again, nitpick. You know what I mean?
I thought that I walked out of it. I was worried because I thought I was the enthusiastic one.
You were very enthusiastic, but
everybody else was like, I don't know. Sometimes, yeah. Like my wife was like, "This is so it was so sad and depressing," and I was like, "Yes, exactly.
That's exactly what it had to be."
Yeah.
My wife did not like it. And it wasn't because sad and depressing. She was just like, if I have to hear him laugh one more time, I'm like, honey, you're just wrong. You're just wrong.
I think the inclusion of the Wayne's death might be, again, because it's all in his head and he's just fantasizing about him being the cause of Batman.
I don't know if I would take it that far. I think that was just it looked like, no, I hear you, but I think it looked quote unquote legit enough. And also, I was not bothered by the inclusion. I thought it was great. I thought it was good because we don't need to know it. It's not alluding automatically that this kid is now gonna be Batman. It's just cementing the fact that this movie is about the Joker because this is kind of like the lineage, the way the events happen. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like no, this is not about a guy that thought himself Joker. This is in Gotham City, and this is the Joker. The Joker, and who knows? In our head, obviously, or I hope that they will not try to tie it in anything in this universe with a Batman. But we can fantasize about. We can think about. So what would a Batman in that? If you want it, you could decide not to have one, and that's fine. But I could think of a Batman that maybe he's not the typical. He's a vigilante, but not like a super guy. He's not a superhero per se. Because he doesn't look like he's that type of world. I don't know. I thought the inclusion. I enjoyed it. I like that he was at it.
All right. So stay tuned, guys. We'll be right back with our next segment. And we're back, guys, and it is time for us to go into our useless news
that you can
Thank you.
use.
To abuse.
Thank you.
Oh, God.
Thank you, Peacock. So my first piece, Peacock. I'm going to start with some interesting news here from this coming spring, guys. It's going to be quite full of games, and now there's an additional game that will now enter the fold of spring 2020, and that is Doom Eternal.
Oh, hold on.
Oh
Wait a
my
minute. That game's coming in November.
No,
Yeah, just
I
not
read
this
the
year.
email, my friend. Yes,
What?
unfortunately, originally set to come out in November, Doom Eternal has been delayed to March 20 of 2020.
Oh.
Its software and publisher Bethesda announced on Twitter. Doom Eternal's release date is the same day as Animal Crossing Horizons.
Oh, yeah. Super threatening.
Yeah, I don't think that's threatening to anybody there. So, yeah, unfortunately, we'll have to wait a little bit longer. So that really doesn't leave much other than Death Stranding for the rest of this year. And since recently I said it may be a disappointment, I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing for the rest of this year, guys. I guess it's going to be all the Outer Worlds.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah. No, I don't know. Hey, I'm all for if you're gonna delay the game because you need to work on it and make it better. I'm all for that.
And do it, yeah.
Do it. What I'm hearing, the rumblings, of my sources,
Oh,
have been telling me that development on the game it's getting it's coming up a little rough. I mean, expected. Obviously, they delayed it. Haha, that's not the news. But the fact that a major component, what would have been an interesting component of Doom Eternal, is not going to be available for release date. As it would have been expected, it's going to come later on. And I forgot the name of the actual feature, and maybe if you guys could find it for me, but it's basically
it's called what was it? Online mode?
It is yes and no. Yes, in the sense that it's not like deathmatch or anything like that. It is or snap map. It is the
Games
idea of it,
service.
the idea of it was that you could be playing the game and I see that you're playing the game and I can jump in, on my game to your game and play as one of the demons, for example, and suddenly like instead of you facing an AI character, you're facing me, and and you will probably notice.
Yeah, I don't remember the name of the mode, but I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah. And I thought that was pretty cool. I thought that was pretty rad. That you'll be playing Doom, and I can kind of like invade your game, right? Yeah, exactly. And suddenly you have this intelligent, quote unquote, characters. You probably notice when I invade your world because I'll be the worst. I'll be worse than the AI, but still. But that feature would have been nice to have when everybody's playing the campaign. When the game's released. And at least when I expect to be playing that, that campaign mode. Like, it'd be a shame if I finish the game and then like a couple of weeks later is when they start releasing that,
Yeah.
But I guess that's what I get for being a day oneer. If I decide to go day one on it because it's a Bethesda joint and they haven't
Gotta be careful.
Yeah, be very careful. Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna throw my first piece is when Apex Legends dropped their season 3 with the new map, there was certain vaults that you couldn't open. They were locked, and every time you approach it, there was like a timer on it. I figured it was days or days, hours, whatever. And yeah, lo and behold, what was it? Tuesday, I think it was. If you shoot down one of the new hoverbots, that they have this sphere on it that changes colors from gold to purple to blue. It stays on the blue the longest. It's go to gold for a moment, purple for a little bit, and then just mainly blue. Mm-hmm. Not all of them can drop them, but some of them will drop vault keys, and it'll mark on your map where the vault is at. So once you get over there, you hold square for a little bit. I think it's like 3 seconds, and voila, you can go into this beautiful vault full of just beautiful, delicious loot.
Ooh. Is
It's
it like the
just
permanent stuff that you will keep for your character, or is it the temporary for, you
no,
know?
just for that game. It's just gear. You
Oh,
get
okay.
like
Here, gotcha.
golden or purple backpack, shield,
No
helmet.
skins or anything like that.
No skin, no skins. You know, you
Gotcha.
get the attachments or stuff like that.
Cool.
Which I mean, it gives you a hell of an edge.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say. Because
So
suddenly
it's
you don't have to, you're not obligated to be landing on hot zones if you want the better gear.
well, not just that. For example, we were playing the other day, and we had such a tough time finding shields. Like all we had was just white ones, and we got one of the drones. We went to the vault, and suddenly now two of us have purple shields, and we found a blue one on the way. So we're much better now. So it really is very very helpful to actually try to get them. Then they're not always inside of the ring, so you have to try to get them fast.
Yeah.
Not to mention, you don't want to get murdered as soon as you loot it, so it can be dangerous.
Hmm.
But it's just part of the fun. I've really been enjoying this season, even though I mean snipers have been a pretty big thing. The charge rifle is one of the new energy rifles. It's a
Mm.
new energy weapon. It's a sniper rifle. It's an anti-Titan weapon, and you're
Wow.
using it against people. It's so
Nice.
satisfying. It's so satisfying.
Sounds like a Titan maybe making an appearance.
At some
Oh,
point.
oh, I think that's just hopes, but I think they're so hyped at the moment. But
I can
if
see that as a
it'd be too much though.
temporary
It'd be too
mode.
much.
It'd be too much. Yeah, I agree. A character, you know what I expect? I expect a character that will have like a mini mech, maybe,
I mean,
perhaps. That's stupid. That's stupid. I don't
that'd be
think that will happen.
great. That'd
That's
be
dumb.
great to take control of a remote controlled death bot.
Wow.
Start shooting people with this tiny robot.
Listen, we all know what happened to Fortnite when Fortnite did the Titans.
Oh yeah, I know. Everybody was going nuts.
That did not go too well. But I heard they're bringing solo games again. Is that right?
To Apex?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. I haven't heard anything about it.
Oh,
Listen,
I
man,
think.
I'm gonna tell you right now. I am the one that lives under a rock. Okay, I know.
Our GG correspondent, Chaos Reaper.
God no.
All right. Well, I got one for you, and I think this will make a few people happy, because we all know it's October, and we got pumpkin spice everything, I guess. But no, what this means is, of course, another month for Xbox Game Pass for the few of you that have it. And I don't see that mockingly. I honestly don't think a lot of people are taking advantage of this,
Oh,
because I mean, I paid the introduction of it for like $2. I got 2 months, and if this is what I can expect to be getting, I mean, I played to completion Gears of War, so I didn't have to buy it. And if this next thing that I'm going to mention is what I could expect, then there's no reason not to have this if you're, obviously if you're an Xbox player, but also if you play PC games. Because, for example, Microsoft detailed the lineup coming throughout the rest of the month for PC, for both PC and Ultimate subscriber. The headliner of October is said to be The Outer Worlds, the spiritual successors. Oh yeah, to the Fallout series. From some of the leads who brought that series to life. And the release for October includes it also includes F1 2018, the mountain bike game Lonely Mountains Downhill, and the micro-sized game Minute, who I haven't heard about.
Minute? Never. Spelled weirdly, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the Minute, yeah.
It's a little indie title.
You can also expect to have Saint Rose 4 re-elected edition, and or experience the sci-fi thriller State of Mind, and Journey to the Star with Stellaris. So, some of the games that are coming for Game Pass. I think the list also includes Dishonored 2, World War Z, Yooka-Laylee. So but again, it just goes back to the Outer Worlds. I still have that subscription. I think it expires in November, at the beginning of November or something like that. I could start playing the Outer Worlds and decide, hey, because it's gonna run out before I beat the game, obviously.
But you can just up it up again for another $10.
I can pay what is it, $15, and have it for another month, or not, or straight up, I'll buy the game, whatever. But it is a major title, So
it is. It's interesting, and I'm wondering what the logistics for because you figure I'm trying to think of the name of the developer. What's the name? Obsidian, right? Yeah. So Obsidian is clearly not a first party to Microsoft. So
they are now.
That's right. They are now. They are. Okay. So now it makes sense. That makes sense. Okay. Never mind. Now it makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I was just like, man, did they just like shell out a shitload of money? And well, actually, they did because they bought the company. Did. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Fair enough. Never mind, guys.
There you go,
Mr. Chaos. Oh wait.
It's your turn.
Oh, of course it's my turn. Oh, sorry. My next piece, guys, we're going to switch things over to a little bit of TV news. TV in the sense of Hulu.
TV.
Yes. Streaming service Hulu finally catches up with Netflix by offering downloads for all offline mobile viewing. But Android fans of The Handmaid's Tales, don't get your phones out just yet. The option is only available for Apple users on mobile devices. What? Yeah. Good job, Disney. Yes, I'm blaming Disney because they own Hulu. And I'm just going to blame Disney. So, unlike Netflix, which lets you download for offline viewing on all pay plan levels, this option will only be available to Hulu users on the $11.99 a month no commercial plan. For those on the Spotify Premium with Hulu plan and the upcoming Disney Plus bundle, which includes the basic that includes ads, there will be no option for offline. So
interesting.
Screw you, hippies. I will then just watch online.
Right. While you subscribe to the Disney.
So my next piece is Rocket League joins every other game that has a Halloween event.
Oh, of course, because it's that time of the season.
Of course. So they're basing it off the upside down, Stranger Things, and I'm gonna read this off Polygon. The soccer with car competitive game will host a Haunted Hallows event starting October 14 and running through the spooky season. Players can earn Stranger Things related digital prizes by playing online games in special areas and picking up candy corn credits.
Yeah, wow. Candy corn.
Wow.
The game's Farmstead Arena will be dressed up as Stranger Things' scary alternative universe, The Upside Down. Items available during the Halloween promotion will include a Demogorgon player banner and player title, as well as decals, including some based on show character Hopper. The Haunted Hallows will end on November 11, and credits can also be spent on non-Stranger Things Halloween stuff.
Nice.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Side note.
Yeah, for those who I know that Sparrow's. I don't know if he's still an avid player of this, but I know he played it a lot. So, hey, maybe he'll get to show off some stuff.
Yeah, I think he's also a fan of Stranger Things, so this is right up his alley.
There you go.
Side note: candy corn has always been good in theory. Every time of year that we come to this time of year, I end up buying a bag. And I'm like, as I see it, I'm like, yes, candy corn. I buy a bag, and I shit you not, I have like 5 of them. And I'm like, oof, this is way too sweet. And then we have this bag that lasts for like 3 months because we can't fucking finish it. So
that's it. That's pretty much the proper way to consume candy corn. You recycle the rest for the following.
Is that what you do?
Take note, neighborhood kids.
I'm not eating any candies from your house. I'm just saying.
Sir, have you tasted candy corn? Candy corn tastes like sweet, super sweet old candy, and it has always tasted it,
Yeah,
and
even
it's fine.
fresh.
I
It's
don't
it's
like
pretty good.
candy corn.
Yeah.
Well,
I
or
always
mango,
run
Whatever the
into. I shit you not. By the end of this
that could
month,
be
I would have bought a bag of it, and then regret it
the,
shortly
the
thereafter.
the Grinch of Halloween over here doesn't like candy corn. Okay, so what? Is it my turn?
Yes, sir.
All right. Well,
Yes,
I'm gonna
sir.
bring it back. I'm gonna bring it back to TV here. TV. Because Ubisoft is adapting Watch Dogs into a TV show.
Oh, I think I read something like that.
Yeah, but before you get your hopes up,
Oh God, really? That was quick.
it
Directed by
is
Uwe Boll. No, just kidding.
a might as well. It's actually worse than that.
Ooh.
It is a show for tweens.
Hmm.
After the success of Ubisoft Rabbit Invasion series on Netflix, the company is developing other popular game franchises on its own as their own TV series, but not all of them for the audience that you would expect. According to the Hollywood Reporter, the developer this is stupid. I'm gonna read it just like it says. According to the Hollywood Reporter, the developer is Ubisoftening the Watch Dogs franchise to turn it into a tamer cyber mystery series aimed at tweens, which is
Really?
preteens age to 12. Yeah, and when you see this thing, I mean, this thing might as well be the Teletubbies of Watch Dogs.
Wow.
'Cause you remember how innocent the Watch Dogs game is, the one where you're murdering a bunch of people and cyber hacking and all that. Ubisoft is, thought
That's
that it was,
definitely for tweens.
yeah, exactly. Uh, so if you see, they have released, mind you, they have released some concept art. When you see this, you will swear this is something out of Nickelodeon.
Wow.
You know,
Dear Lord.
supposedly, Far Cry 3 will receive a similar treatment.
Oh
We
my, are you
Far
serious?
Cry?
wait,
Come on.
hold on,
Might as well do it to God of War if they
hold,
had it.
hold on. With a young adult series based on its Blood Dragon DLC involving Netflix Castlevania producer
Oh
Oh, come
yeah,
on.
yeah,
Blood
Jack
Dragon was
the
so.
very mature one.
name name Captain Laserhawk, a Blood Dragon vibe, will supposedly from a multiverse with other Ubisoft titles.
I love it how you can't even read it with a straight face.
No, I
Yeah.
can't.
Yeah.
It just sounds so stupid. It sounds so. I mean, you might as well expect Doom at some point, right? And hey, maybe a kid's The Witcher. How do you feel about that?
Maybe,
Well,
maybe
They're not
they'll
from
do.
Ubisoft, but might as well. I tell
Maybe,
you what. You know what? I always wanted to see Saints Row for toddlers.
maybe they'll do a Teletubbies version of Resident Evil.
Yeah,
My God, you
definitely.
guys are killing me. Killing me softly, guys.
Ubisoft. I love
Ubisofting. Killing me Ubisofting.
Ubisoft.
What?
Yeah.
What is happening?
That's
Uh,
that's the news.
all right. So my next piece, guys, is a small one. Sony ends Facebook support on PlayStation 4. That is all.
What?
Sure.
Sony, yeah.
Okay.
Sony Interactive Entertainment is removing Facebook integration from the PlayStation 4 as of Monday, October 7th. Facebook features will no longer be supported on Sony's current gen system, meaning PS4 owners will not be able to share gameplay, screenshots, or any other gaming activities on Facebook.
Well,
No
I
big
mean,
loss.
you
Yeah.
still can,
Because it almost never worked.
It always worked for me, but I rarely. Sometimes it did it without me wanting it to, but I was like, all right, whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, whatever. You can still send the picture because you can have the message app on your phone, and you can take the pictures from there. So if you send it to a friend, you get the picture on your phone, you post it on Facebook, voila.
Oh, the messenger
Yeah.
board. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That does work.
I think he meant the console itself.
Oh
but-
no, yeah, I know what he meant, but it's like there's still ways to do it. Like,
Yeah.
it's not impossible.
Yeah.
Let's get the picture out of.
Well, guys, how stupid does this sound? Google Stadia. Actually, there you go. Google Stadia. There you go. How
Sounds
stupid does this
really, really stupid. No.
sound? No. Google Stadia could sidestep latency issues by predicting button presses. Google Stadia will eventually have traditional consoles beat when it comes to responsiveness, according to the platform's VP of engineering, Match Bakar, I think is his name.
Sure.
Speaking in the latest edition of Edge magazine, Bakar explained Stadia will utilize something called negative latency to sidestep any potential lag between player and server. Bakar uses the term to describe a predicted latency buffer that will result in lag mitigation measures such as rapidly increasing frames per second to reduce latency between players' input and display, or perhaps even predicting which button would a player hit next. The quote says, ultimately, we think in a year or two, we'll have games that are running faster and feel more responsive in the cloud that they'll do locally. Bakar told Edge, regardless of how powerful the local machine is. End quote. It is unclear how exactly the system will anticipate players' next move, but it'll be interesting to see if it's something that eventually comes to fruition further down the line. So I ask, this is me talking now, have they developed a way to read our minds through the internet?
I
I don't
think
think so.
I think based on the gameplay, is like, well, what would the player do at this point?
Oh, so it's autoplay then. Okay, got it.
Pretty
I didn't never
much,
got
yeah.
to read through that.
That and again doesn't spell well when you're already preparing for, okay, what can we do about lag? You know,
I mean, they to be
Damn.
fair, they do have. I mean, lag is a real issue. So
Oh, I know it.
they better be working on something
I
rather than
know
not
it.
do anything. Because otherwise, I don't want it to be like the state that the games play online right now, which is acceptable, quote unquote, but it's not the
Yeah,
ideal.
but that sounds ridiculous. All right, straight up, that sounds ridiculous.
Oh yeah.
I can.
Like right through.
I mean,
That sounds ridiculous.
wow, there you go, there you
There it
go.
is.
You so high through.
I have no other pieces of news, guys. I don't even have anything
I
else.
have one more, and I was saving it for the very end. I'm reading this off of Polygon. The title of the news starts off as Riot asks League of Legends players and casters to keep politics away from broadcast. Because as we know, what happened and what we're going to talk in the hot topic of the week, it's what happened with Blizzard. I'm going to read off what they posted on Twitter, the letter. And share my thoughts on it afterwards. It says, as we near this weekend's League of Legends World Championship Group stage, I want to take a moment to speak clearly about how we approach sensitive topic on Riot's broadcast. As a general rule, we want to keep our broadcast focused on the game, the sports, and the players. We serve fans from many different countries and cultures, and we believe this opportunity comes with a responsibility to keep personal views on sensitive issues, political, religious, or otherwise, separate. These topics often incredibly nuanced, require a deep understanding and a willingness to listen, and cannot be fairly represented in the forum of our broadcast provides. And then it just keeps going on and on about it. So the way I see it is this is just setting a precedence so that in the event that anybody does it, there will be a justifiable ban or punishment towards that person because listen, we told you so. I know that they're not saying that they're going to. I'm just saying it sets a warning
You
before
can't
it
say
happens.
later on that we didn't warn you.
Right.
basically.
To me, it feels like a soft ban. I could be taking a little too far, but that's just how it feels to me.
As we're going to get a little bit more in depth in the hot topic, but as I think we're talking about this a little bit off air, and I feel that I agree. I'm just gonna leave it. We'll talk about it on Hot Topic, but I feel that I think as a broadcasting thing, you kind of want to set certain parameters. Otherwise, you can't open up the floodgates to just constant stuff. However, I feel that there's just when you're in a certain position of I don't want to say of power, but of some sort of status, right? You have a certain responsibility, and it's funny. Funny, I'm going to say this, but with great power comes with great responsibility, right? That particular sentiment, I don't think was ever really. Yes, it works for superheroes, but I don't think it was ever meant for that. You know what I mean? Stanley has always been very grounded when it comes to his beliefs, and I'm positive that's what he believes. You can have high status and you have a certain responsibility, particularly if you feel strongly about something, to shed some light on it. You know what I mean? And is that the place to do it? Who knows? That's up for debate. However, to get back to the actual riot one, I can see why they would do that. I don't necessarily think they're going to go and ban someone if someone does it, particularly because of the the more recent backlash that happened to again. Well, we'll get into the hot topic, but so I'm not sure. I don't think that's going to be the case. I really think they're just kind of setting that and maybe hoping that okay, maybe we'll get a few people wear a shirt or something like that, but it'll just kind of come and go. But no one will be crazy enough to just jump out there like I don't know, free,
Hong Kong.
Hong Kong. Yeah, exactly. So, but we'll see. Any other pieces of news?
No, that was it for me.
I think I'm clear.
All right. So stand by, guys. We'll be back with our hot topic.
Hot topic.
And we're back, guys, and it is time for our hot topic of the
topic. Oh, no, we're not over there? Oh,
no,
okay.
you're fine. You're fine. No worries.
I think they meant hot topic.
I think so, too.
Or top topic.
I felt so alone.
Our hot topic, guys, is, well, we've titled it, How Much Are We Willing to Sacrifice for Gaming? So, first off, what is this coming from? What are we talking about? We're talking about the banning of a particular esports player who plays Hearthstone. Actually, earned money doing so in a recent tournament, and was banned for making a comment regarding free Hong Kong. Excuse me, and not only was the money and everything taken away, he got banned for a year, and the reason for that obviously is because of possible tensions between the China, right, mainland China, and which owns a major stake in Activision Blizzard, and obviously they with StarCraft and a lot of the games, they have a huge amount of players within that region, and they don't want to lose. Because obviously the government of China can just literally block them or do a bunch of stuff that would just cause no sales to happen. It just can cost them money. So in the end, it's money, right?
Mm-hmm. The same old why.
The same old why, right? So why is this a big thing? What is the deal? First off, I kind of went into this. I think it was either yesterday or the day before. I think it was yesterday. And I basically just, I keep saying it because I fell down this rabbit hole, right? Because you kind of start with one string and you're pulling, this is an interesting thing. And I'm like, okay. And as you're reading the story, there's a particular part of the phrase that's highlighted. So you hit that and it drops you to another story. Now you're reading on this. And before I know it, I was like 4 or 5 articles in. And I'm just first off shocked that I didn't know this. So, quick history on this, right? So to understand what's going on in Hong Kong, I don't know if you guys know this, but Hong Kong was actually owned or occupied by British, right? It was under British rule for a long time, and in 1997, they gave back Hong Kong to mainland China under the caveat that for 50 years, Hong Kong will remain a separate entity from mainland China, right? So that, by the way, that would end in 1997, so it will be 2047. So, but little by little, mainland China has been putting its claws into Hong Kong because obviously it wants Hong Kong back, either from messing with elections or whatever the case may be, and even kidnapping and stuff like that. And anyway, so all that's already been happening for a long time, and a recent rule came up because right now there is no extradition rule in Hong Kong. So if you're in Hong Kong, you cannot be extradited. The mainland China is trying to put in an amendment to that, saying yes, you can be extradited, and everyone in Hong Kong is like, no, we are already being kidnapped. We're already being under a crazy rule of communist China. We don't need that because that's just going to open the floodgates for them to do whatever they want. Take anybody out, take them to mainland China, throw them in a cell, and forget them for 20 years. So that in essence is what started the whole thing earlier this year, right? So the player gets online and more, it's not just him, it's been out there. But if there's one thing that mainland China is really against, is anyone protesting. So for any type of protest, they really frown upon. And obviously, this person wasn't in China while he was doing this, right? But the problem is that there's money to be lost here. And China, for some reason, I don't know if you know this, but China, for some reason, has a little bit of pull outside of China.
Yeah. I know exactly the reason.
Yeah. And that's a little scary because it's just like the main frustration with what happened with Blizzard, it's like Blizzard is an American company, right? And last time I checked, America stood for freedom, right? So someone simply mentioning, hey, free Hong Kong and all this and all this, you figure that shouldn't be a big issue. But not only was it such a big issue, they were so concerned about angering mainland China or China in general and possibly losing money that they went and did this. And that's what's got everybody enraged. It got me enraged, and that's why it became the hot topic. Because I was just like, sorry, but this is not a freaking communist country. What I'm saying? We can say what the hell we want, as far as I'm concerned, and we shouldn't be bullied by another nation, even when it comes to money. You know what I mean? And so, what do you guys think about that? What do you guys think about? Go ahead, sir.
If I may, because I do want to give a couple of clarifications. First of all, even though it's very, very hard for me to pronounce this name, I do want to give credit where credit is due. This is a professional Hearthstone player and I apologize for completely butchering this name, but I want to give it my best there. Ninwei. And then Ninwei Sheng, I believe is the way you pronounce it. I could be completely wrong. As a matter of fact, I'm probably wrong, but I just wanted to say his name rather than refer to him as the player.
Thank you.
Just because I think the measures that he took, the thing that he did, although it was it could have been incited by the person, the people that were interviewing him, because this happened on October 6th, and he won this Grandmasters of Hearthstone, and he was being interviewed, and in the middle of this interview, which by the way, the videos of it have been pulled off completely from Blizzard and I believe from YouTube. They kind of see him. He was wearing this garment, like he had a mask basically, which basically symbolized the protest that is ongoing in Hong Kong, with this Hong Kong China conflict. And it was, at the end of this interview, the interviewers basically told him, okay, say what you need to say now. This is
Yeah,
your moment.
yeah.
And
Throw it
they
out
go
there.
ahead, yeah, and then go ahead and duck themselves under the, under the desk, while this person made his declaration, which was basically something along the lines of, and I'm super paraphrasing here, of the liberate Hong Kong or free Hong Kong. It was something along those lines. Um, I kind of want to find. It's not fair not to find the exact quote, but
Oh, I can get it for you. Yeah.
yeah, if you can find it for me, um, because it was a very small event, a very small thing that happened. You would think that had a huge implication. That implication being Blizzard deciding to punish not only the player but also the interviewers who were employed, by Blizzard. They were fired, terminated immediately, and the player was his the money that he won from his prize was basically forfeited.
Hmm.
You know,
Completely. That he's
complete.
earned before this time too. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh,
Yeah. Yeah.
so and then he receives, on top of that, he received a year ban. You know, so Blizzard not only rescinded the $10,000 in prize money that Chung was set to receive, but he also received a 12-month ban from participating in the Grandmasters.
That
Uh,
is
and
so
they claim
absurd.
Yeah.
Yeah, they claim that the reason for that is that they were in violation of Rule Section 6.1, which reads, according to Blizzard, it reads, engaging in any act in, in Blizzard's sole discretion. So, in other words, up to them to decide, um, brings you into public dispute, offense a portion or group of public, or otherwise damages Blizzard image, will result in removal of the grandmasters and the reduction of the player's prize total to $0. In addition to other remedies which may be provided for under the handbook and the Blizzard's website terms. So it's a very incredibly harsh punishment for basically a person that they just express their opinion in in his country, which I mean, my understanding is it's not China, so they have freedom of they have freedom of expression. Am I wrong? I could be wrong, but like I doubt it, because I don't think that he will risk his life, to just say it
Correct.
if it
Yeah.
wasn't
If
the
he
case.
wasn't mainland China, then that
Yeah,
was
he was. That
that
would
was
be
not
something.
very smart.
That
Yeah.
would be something
Yeah.
else. Yeah, that
But
would be something else. So
what he said was liberate. I quote: "Liberate Hong Kong, revolution of our age," is what he
yeah,
said.
yeah.
And so, KX, what are your thoughts, sir?
Um, again, like I said, I live under a rock, so I didn't know anything about this until today. But it seems ridiculous that a company that has on its quote around its emblem or whatever, a voice for everybody or something along those
Yeah.
lines, it's banning someone for exercising that very same line.
hmm yeah,
I
It's
mean,
yeah,
I understand that it's trying to protect its financial interest. I understand it. I don't respect it, and I don't agree with it.
but at what cost, right? Are we suddenly giving up freedoms,
mm
to say let's not anger this particular group,
mm
or if whatever the case, because we don't want to, because that's what it comes down to. Another scenario that I want to bring that happened very similar is the NBA is huge in China.
I
Yes,
heard
actually,
there's something
surprisingly,
happening with them too.
surprisingly enough, they are. Yeah.
Exactly the same. There was these protesters who were at I want to say it's a 76ers game. You guys can correct me in the comments, but it's basically they were at a football game and they had the same thing. It was like a protest, free or liberate Hong Kong, and security there at the game escorted those people out of the game. And it's like, and again, this is this isn't in China, you know. It's here, you know what I mean. But it starts to make you wonder. Say, well, wait a minute, what is going on? Where are those tendrils? I need to see where those tendrils are sticking into, because now I'm starting to wonder: is this how you know, what's going to be that line? What's going to be the point? You know, how is there going to be a line? Is it going to be so subtle that we suddenly give up these particular freedoms, and you realize, oh shit, we're under some sort of totalitarian rule? You know what I mean? It's just like, how did this happen?
We are in a totalitarian rule. It's money.
Yeah,
Money rules at the end of it. At the end of it all,
With
if you consider, China is an economic superpower. When you think about it, not only they have a huge population that is a huge consumer of entertainment, but also the majority of our electronic imports come from China. In goods and
electronics.
Stuff. Yeah,
I mean, we don't have China.
You want to know? You want to know how big they are? You know the movie World of Warcraft?
Mm-hmm.
It bombed here in the States. It bombed horribly, but it was a financial success in China.
Yeah.
Yes, it was.
And that movie was not terrible. Well, a little bit.
It was overly complicated.
Yeah. It was World of Warcraft.
It pretended that you know a lot about the lore. Anyways, that's not what this is about.
So when you have an economic superpower that has that pool, and not only that, but you have this super mega conglomerate Tencent, which is they have ownership not only in Blizzard, in Activision Blizzard, but also in Epic, and also in Reddit. I believe, and
I think they own 5% of Epic.
Right. Which is still ownership. It's still a huge amount, especially considering Epic is. I don't think Epic is a public company.
No, it's not. It's privately owned.
Right. Yeah. And and yet Tencent owns 5%. So obviously they have, and especially the case with Activision, with Activision Blizzard, this is a case where, just like you guys were very well said it, they want to protect their financial interests at the cost of whatever. They don't want to infuriate the Chinese government, because guess what? You infuriate the Chinese government, what happens? China might decide. Here. Yeah, exactly.
Product and is no longer welcome here.
A huge market suddenly. That's a huge colossal loss. So that's what's scary.
I want to point out that Epic did already come out and say that they're not going to ban anyone that puts free Hong Kong and any other content.
Oh yeah, there being a lot of companies now that they're like, oh no, you guys are, we're not doing that.
Oh, that's because, man, they want to stand as far away as possible from Blizzard right now.
Yeah, but that might also imply that their own product may not be welcome later on in China. Do you guys think do you guys see it as just a PR stunt, or do you guys think that this could actually be a serious implication towards their business, and regardless of that, they're still saying we're okay with it?
I think this is a control risk. I think they're saying
a bit of both.
Yeah. I think they're saying they don't want to be involved. They don't want to look like they're on the same stand as Blizzard,
or Riot, because that's funny. That's where Riot comes in, and the news piece that I read, which are basically telling like, let's avoid it.
See that, but in Riot's term, I think it's like Magda was saying. It's like, okay, well, let's set some parameters at least. I don't think they was going to straight out like ban you and do the same thing. I don't think there's a company out there, unless it's a strictly Chinese company, that will do what Activision Blizzard did. Because look at the backlash they're facing. Right now they're facing backlash from even members, of our government. They're facing backlash from
employees. Senator here in Florida got involved.
Rubio.
Marco Rubio.
That's
because
true.
it's
not even Blizzard himself entirely is agrees with what happened.
yeah, exactly. So it's because it's a slap in the face. It
Yeah.
literally is a slap in the face. This is like, dude,
Yeah.
we're not. You shouldn't make a decision. I have to actually ask this. I'm curious to know who in the executive's office got through or what are we going to do, guys? This guy just said something about Hong Kong. It's going to piss off these guys. What do we do? And this group of people all came down to this and then agreed to do it. And it's just like no one came to guys, I think this may be a bit harsh. We may look bad here.
I think this was a knee-jerk reaction. Honestly,
I think it was I think it was a panic reaction. I agree
my
with
God.
you. I think it was like, nope, cut that.
But what does that say? What does that say that the knee-jerk reaction? What does it mean? Or rather, what does it? Well, how do I phrase? What does the person have above you? Okay, that will cause that knee-jerk reaction.
They know they know the implication of infuriating the Chinese government.
It's just
it's gonna cost us money. Cut it.
Yeah, it's just I don't know. I cannot fathom. The thought of someone basically of just completely just doing this and going, nah, we don't need to. And you know what this also implies, and I hate to say this also implies how some of these companies may look at gamers in general, right? Because they're going to say they made the decision to do this on a whim, said fuck it, we don't care, gamers are gamers, we got plenty of gamers, we'll get somebody, you know what I'm saying? It almost paints a picture of what these companies look at us like. You know what I'm saying? Am I making any sense? I don't even know.
Yeah.
Okay. So
totally.
Yeah. So it's just like I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm bothered by it. There's some new revelations from this particular. Yes, there's a slight echo because Mr. David over here decided to come over to this computer.
I'm sorry, but breaking news. This is happening live right now. I'm uninstalling the Battle.net. I'm uninstalling the Blizzard software.
Oh, okay.
There you go. Uninstall. Protest.
And I'm sure you heard the cut in audio because of it, but that's fine.
Yeah.
Good job, sir.
Blizzard.
Good job.
You know what? I'm with you on that one.
Yeah. You have to. Hey, you vote with your wallet, right? Well, there you go.
Yeah.
There you go. I'm staging a protest right now.
I guess I'm not playing Overwatch.
The revolution of nope. Hey, if you follow freedom, you will not be occupied.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. It's just like you suddenly forget that this is what this nation was built on. You know what I mean? And it's like it's just so baffling to me. It's so baffling. So there's some new revelations I wanted to quickly bring up that actually happened today. Blizzard Entertainment is shortening its suspension of Hearthstone player Blitzchung Ninghua to 6 months. Blizzard President Alan Brack announced tonight, literally a couple hours ago, guys. The developer will no longer strip Chung of his earnings, and both fired casters will have their suspensions reduced to 6 months also. The Irving-based developer has been under intense scrutiny, including internal criticism from its own staff, after it suspended Chung on October 8th for expressing support for ongoing protests in Hong Kong during Hearthstone broadcasts. Brack said in his statement that Chung broke the rules by using his interview to make a statement about a situation in Hong Kong. He added that Chung's views were not a factor in its decision, and he says, I want to be clear, our relationships in China had no influence to our decision, he wrote. Take that as you will. He continued, quote, if this had been the opposing viewpoint delivered in the same divisive and deliberate way, we would have felt and acted the same way. And so it's online if you want to see his entire response. But I don't know.
It took them 4 days to come up with that.
Just about, yeah.
But wouldn't it mean the same way? Even if the message was the opposite, you're still censoring speech?
Correct.
Yeah.
Exactly. Which is exactly the again, going back, and I hate to bring it up because I know this is an old scenario now, but going back to the NFL thing, people were like, "This is bullshit. This is not what America is. They can't be kneeling, during the national anthem." And then I'm like, "No, I think you forgot that this is a free nation. So yes, you can do what the fuck you want during the national anthem. A lot of people don't even stand up. So
Yeah.
off your high horse, guys. You know what I'm saying? I don't see anybody
You're not
standing in
supposed
my.
to.
Anytime I've ever watched it in my living room, no one suddenly stands up when the national anthem is coming on. So again, you see what I'm saying? That's what that means. It means you have that freedom to do so. You may not agree with it. Hey, that's fine. You're free to do that too. But you know what I'm saying? And that's what seems to be just got forgotten here. Dude, it's just so asinine. I was so pissed when I went through this, and then on top of that, of course, it shed the light of what's going on over there. And suddenly, like I said, I may have said this off air, so I'll repeat myself. Like I said, what I was saying before was, if they had done nothing, less people would even know now what's going on in Hong Kong.
True, that is so true.
Honestly,
I never would have known.
Yeah, honestly, to me personally, and I hate to, and I feel sorry for what's happened to Mr. Chung, and it's wrong and it shouldn't have, but I'm glad it shed a light on something I didn't know, because now I want to know. And now, first off, the whole thing with the fact that, regardless of what we say, 2047, Hong Kong goes back to China. And that's it. It's back under a communist rule the way it was before, and that's it. There's nothing anybody could do, unless obviously they could do something beforehand, which is what they're working towards. And it's just crazy to me. It's just crazy to me that a nation we deal with. I mean, think of North Korea. That's a communist country, but we don't really deal with North Korea. They just sit and do their own thing. You know what I mean? But no, man, China is into everything. And yeah, that's how it's ruled over there. That's how things are ruled. One more piece I want to bring up here. Gamers, this is coming from GameStop. Gamers are planning Hong Kong protests at BlizzCon 2019, guys. Let's see how they can. Let's see what happens there. Quote. Let me go. BlizzCon is home to championships, game reveals, fan events, and cosplay contests. This year, it may host another spectacle, mass political demonstrations. In the wake of Blizzard's heavily criticized decision to ban a player for making a political statement in a post-match interview, a group of gamers are organizing a protest to take place at the event. So curious to see how they can edit that out of whatever ended up happening over there. Do we ever watch BlizzCon? I feel like we've watched BlizzCon after it airs. So
yeah, I never watched it live because they charge for it. I feel like
of course they would. How American of them.
Let's say they completely fix the situation. I think they should still protest the fact that Diablo is coming to mobile.
Jesus Christ.
Is this an April Fool's joke?
Wow. Honestly, I have a feeling they're going to do everything they can to keep angles on every camera in a certain direction. It's just like, don't go showing those that particular angle there. Yeah. So, any final thoughts on this? Any questions about the? I'm curious if you guys knew about the whole China thing, the 50-year China thing. The rule. What is it? It's called One Country, Two Systems. That's what it was ended up calling. Because they.
I remember from that Jackie Chan movie.
The who? Jackie Chan film?
Yes. Which one was it with? Oh my God,
Chris Tucker. Yeah,
with Chris Tucker. Rush Hour. I know because of Rush Hour. See, that's the extent of knowledge that I had.
I didn't know.
About that, and so mad respects to this player, because what he did brought. And boy, did it bring a lot of attention to this matter that it's happening, right now, and also shed some light into the inner workings of Activision Blizzard, which I've always said is an evil company.
Yeah, and
Blizzard is not the same company that it was.
No.
Otherwise, you wouldn't be getting Diablo on mobile.
what is it? What does it say that Activision Blizzard has actually? There was a meme. I saw this meme. These EA executives are looking out the window and they're like, "Oh man, no protesters." And then it cuts to Activision Blizzard and everybody's outside like it's like man, all it took was this to and I'm not trying to make any jokes about it. I'm just saying that it's just humorous to look at it that way. But any final thoughts on this?
Free Hong Kong, the liberation.
Revelation
is at hand.
Free Hong Kong.
There you go.
I honestly, I'm curious to see what. Now I'm very curious because, like I said, little by little, China has been tightening its grasp on Hong Kong since 1997 because now they're able to do it, and now I'm just like, man, I hope that it can become free. You know what I mean? I don't know, but it's just crazy. It's so crazy to me that something like that's happening in the world right now. You know. Yeah. So, all right, guys. Well, that brings us to the end of an awesome episode 181, the real 181 of GG's The Mouthful Podcast. As always, guys, go now to goodgame.rocks and join the conversation there. And, of course, like, subscribe, and share the podcast with everyone. Quick notes, I'm going to be, at this point tomorrow, have seen probably El Camino twice because I just can't wait to freaking watch it. El Camino, guys, if you don't know, is the follow-up to Breaking Bad. One of the best, if not the best, shows on television. I'm going to leave it at one of the best.
I'm going to say it's the best series on TV.
Yeah. So, and so far, I haven't read them, but I've seen some scores, and they're very promising. So I'm like, okay.
I heard entertaining. Not necessary.
This is Maddog signing off for this week. Mr. Chaos Reaper.
I gotta go finish my sets of Mortal Kombat, gentlemen. So I will catch you all next week.
Awesome.
Sounds good.
Mr. David Santos, take us home.
I am going to propose that we should be considering Borderlands 3 probably Game of the Year material so far. We'll see.
That's not gonna.
Well, I get
because you dictate it.
That's right.
What? Free
China, brother.
Free GG.
China says no.
Let's free GG from this oppressor of indie titles.
Joker's movie of the year.
Of the year, Joker.
Yeah.
I can't think of.
I can be behind that.
Yeah. I don't think of anything else. Yeah.
I can be. There have been some couple of good movies.
I know, but I can't think of anything else that would topple it right now. Nothing that comes to mind, so I can get behind that statement soon. Yeah. All right, guys. We'll see you next week.
GG!